What's up, Nintendo fans? I'm Logan Plant from Nintendo Wire, and today I'd like to talk to you about Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo Switch Online is Nintendo's planned paid service for online gaming such as Splatoon 2, the online races in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Tennis Aces, just to name a few. But it's gone through a lot of problems in its development. In fact, it was supposed to come out last year. If you remember, Nintendo Switch Online was announced at the January event in 2017. It was an event where they announced a lot of news for the Switch, including its price, release date, some more launch games. I remember we saw our first look at Super Mario Odyssey. It was a great event, and stuck in the middle of it was that Nintendo Switch Online would cost $20 a year, and that it would be launching by the end of 2017. As we know, that did not happen, as here we are in the middle of 2018, and we still haven't actually gotten the online service. And I'm a little worried about Nintendo Switch Online, not by what we've heard about it, but more about what we haven't heard about the service. So today, we're going to talk about the history of what we know of its development, some of the issues with paying for Nintendo Switch Online in its current form, and we'll end on a more positive note on how hopefully this motivates Nintendo to actually really improve their online and bring it up to par with some of the other companies for really the first time ever. Because we all know that Nintendo Online has generally lagged behind. So let's get started with some developmental issues. As we talked about, it was revealed all the way back in January of 2017, a year and a half ago, and so we still haven't actually gotten it. Almost 2 years since its announcement. We were hoping we would hear more about it at E3 this year, but no details ever came out. In a recent investors meeting in Japan, we did hear that Nintendo will announce more details and that it still is on track for a September 2018 release. Apparently they felt that E3 just wasn't really the time to talk about their online service. Instead, they chose to just focus on games, which Nintendo does tend to do at E3. But if we go back to the original plans for Nintendo Switch Online, they've already backpedaled on some of it. If you remember, originally, the virtual games that were going to be available would be rental games that changed every month. So if you wanted to play A Link to the Past, you had to wait until, say, December when this game would become available, and then come January 1st, they would remove it from the service. So if you were in the middle of it, on your Switch, you likely wouldn't be able to finish it until it cycled back through again. And I always thought this was a really strange decision to have games that are readily available on new 3DS and Wii U, games you could go buy right now for a few dollars on the eShop, only available for a month at a time on Switch. And so they have gone back on that, and the new plan is to have 20 NES games available at launch of the service, with new NES Online play for the first time ever. They've also said it will be a growing library of games, so more will come in the future, but still, when past consoles have such a wide library of virtual console games from the NES, the Super Nintendo, N64, and then the Wii U even has some Wii games in its eShop, it doesn't make sense to me to have this really slow rollout with Nintendo Switch Online. When I can already get all these games on my older consoles, it would be so convenient for the consumer and make the most sense for the company to release all of the virtual console games that have been available on previous systems with the Switch Online subscription, instead of just getting NES games at launch. Luckily, another new announcement was that cloud saves will come with Nintendo Switch Online. This is something people have been begging for, because previously, if you have to send in your Switch for repairs, if your Switch breaks, you're basically screwed, and you'll lose all your save data, those hundreds of hours in Breath of the Wild, gone just like that. And so it's great to see that if you pay the $20 a year, you will get cloud saves for all your games, so you can transfer to new Switch systems. That is the best piece of news so far from Nintendo Switch Online. But I still think there's a lot of issues with paying for Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo has never been the best at having their online service together. Back in the Wii U era, the Wii and the DS, online has never been Nintendo's forte. Lobbies have been confusing, voice chat's been non-existent. All these issues that Sony and Microsoft have always kind of had together, Nintendo hasn't really prioritized or figured out. So features that I still think are missing from some key first-party titles. Playing with friends in Splatoon 2 is still a disaster. If you want to join someone's lobby in just a simple turf war, usually you'll just have to sit through a match, sometimes even 2 or 3 matches, waiting for that lobby to empty so you can get a spot. It never made sense to me that you can't join a lobby with your friend and then search for strangers through that. In Mario Kart 8, you can't even select what speed you want to race. The track will be randomly selected, and based on what track is picked, it randomly selects a CC. And so, if I want to race 150 or 200 online, it's a completely random chance, and most times I'll have to sit there and race a few 100cc races before I can actually get the level that I want. In Mario Tennis Aces, you can't customize matches locally or online, and I think it's a big omission. The only selections for match length are 7-point tiebreakers or 1-set matches first to 2 games. It's such a step backward to me because even Mario Tennis Ultra Smash on Wii U had more length options than that. So that's one issue with me for paying for online when I still feel that there's these online features within the games that are severely lacking. If Nintendo patches some of these games, if you can hop into a lobby with your friends in Splatoon and then search for strangers in Turf War, if you can select different lobbies for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or even make your own tournaments for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and if you can actually have some customization options for Mario Tennis, selecting a court, selecting how long you want to play, then I would feel more justified in paying for this service. And so hopefully Nintendo realizes that they are charging people money for online for the first time in company history, and maybe they'll listen to some fan demands and patch some of these just quality of life things into their own games. Another issue, I mentioned it earlier, is voice chat has been underdeveloped and underutilized by Nintendo. If you remember, you probably still have it on your phone, the Nintendo Switch Online app was supposed to integrate with all of Nintendo's online experiences, but it is still only used for Splatoon 2. And I actually love the Splatoon 2 integration. You can check what maps there are, you can see all your stats with different weapons, how much turf you ink on each map, your last 50 matches, you can look at the results. I actually think it's a pretty great feature, but it's only been used for Splatoon 2. And voice chat is also supposed to work through this app. I have never used the Nintendo Online voice chat. I have played Splatoon Online for dozens of hours using Skype or Discord or some other service because it doesn't make sense to me to use the Nintendo Switch Online app on my phone when I could just open up Skype, which is a much better experience. One other thing I worry about is the health of online games. Splatoon 2 producer Hisashi Nogami has said, paying for online service should not affect Splatoon 2 negatively. They said, we imagine it will have some sort of influencer effect by the addition of the service, but we want to use Nintendo Switch Online's addition as a way to redouble our commitment to the community and reaffirm for them that we're going to support this game more and more. Splatoon 2 is huge. It's one of the most popular games in Japan, and it has a great presence overseas as well. But what about Mario Tennis? Nintendo's already incentivizing people with free characters each month to participate in their tournament, but eventually that's going to run out. ARMS, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, all these games have much smaller online communities than Splatoon 2, and I think they're in danger with the new paywall to experience online, especially when online has already been available for so long. People have been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online for free for almost a year and a half. I don't see all of those people being okay with suddenly having to pay $20 to experience what they were already getting for free since the game came out last spring. So I think it's good that Nintendo has kept the online service in the shop this long to really get everything right before they do charge people money for their online service. I think it, for some people, will feel a little too late, and they might even feel ripped off that they're having to pay for something that was free for them on Wii, Wii U, DS, 3DS, and even Switch for the first 2 years of the console's life. So I think to incentivize people to get Switch Online, we need to see new features that improve games to make paying worth it. It can't just be a Sony charges $60 a year, Microsoft charges $60 a year, so we should charge money too. It can't be that, because it's already been free on the Switch for so long. There needs to be a reason, something exclusive for paying for online that I couldn't experience on the free online plan. Has to be something new. Maybe they do upgrade Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart and Mario Tennis with these features that I want to see. Or maybe it's some other integration with the online app that really changes how we experience online. Whatever it is, I hope they talk about it before launch, and I hope that it really incentivizes people to pay for online. For a lot of people, playing Smash Bros. Ultimate online when it comes out this December will be enough. But for some people, it might not be, and they might stick to playing only local on their Switch from now on. So I am sounding pretty negative about Nintendo Switch Online, but I just hope that it really motivates Nintendo. We are getting more details before launch, and like I said, they already delayed this, so they know it's not ready for launch. They know they need to offer more to their consumers. So I do have faith that they'll offer something great to consumers in between now and September, so we can see what it is we'll be paying for. In the meeting with shareholders in Japan earlier this month, Kimishima said, "We should be able to give you a little more information as we get closer to the official launch in September. Our aim is to provide consumers with a variety of ways to play and the ability to use the system in a more convenient way. I will have to ask for your patience until we are ready to discuss any further details." So clearly Nintendo is listening. They've seen that people were not happy with the original plan, and now it's been in the shop for a long time, and I expect that sometime later this summer, maybe we'll see a Nintendo Direct that really details Nintendo Switch online service plans. Clearly Nintendo has been listening to us, and they know that improvements need to be made before they are ready to charge people for the online service that has been free for so long. So I'm glad to hear that it's not out yet, because if it was already released, I don't think we'd have a very good service. So knowing that it is still in the shop, it's still being worked on and added to, and they're not ready to talk to us about it yet, it tells me there's something kind of big in the works. Maybe some of the changes I've laid out here, but knowing Nintendo, it's probably something that none of us have foreseen. I hope that it ends up being a good service when it comes out later this September. I hope we see new improvements to games. I hope we see a larger virtual console library, and I hope we see real incentive to start subscribing to a plan. I'm Logan Plant. Thank you so much for watching this video, and for everything Nintendo, stay tuned to Nintendo Wire.